Well, Dana, we're seeing what is basically a one-man race for the Republican presidential nomination. Take a look here. Our brand new numbers in this poll conducted by SSRS among Republican and Republican-leaning voters. You have Donald Trump at 52%, majority support.
In an interview yesterday at CNN, I couldn't believe it. We put it up on social and it flew. It flew. What were the numbers? I don't know. ALX. We put it up on social and it just was absolutely thermonuclear because CNN decided to bring something more than a feather to touch Joe Biden with. CNN did like this really fascinating sort of gloves off moment with Joe Biden, which is fascinating. Biden got completely and totally roasted over the economy on CNN specifically. Joe Biden was able to then lie with impunity to CNN. Funny how they don't interrupt him, screaming over him. Remember Caitlin Collins, Mr. President, like insulting and talking over him. But the clips here are pretty wild. ALX says it's done 3.5 million views off our X account alone, 8,000 reposts, 34,000 likes. Whoo, baby. We got some salt for you here. I hope you've saved up your salt shakers. Here we go. Get my salt shakers. Got the salt shaker. This is the official Benny Brigade salt shaker. Even got our look on it. It's so awesome. We thank you to the brigade members who made us this salt shaker for our salt of the lib, salting of the lib. Ladies and gentlemen, CNN roasting Joe Biden like directly to his face for like minutes on end. I cannot believe they even aired this. But for some reason, somebody, some switch was flipped at CNN, and they're like, okay, like bare knuckle, like gloves off, bare knuckle. You can go after old man Biden. This is elder abuse. Okay, it's all that it is. Please join me in insulting the salty libs, ladies and gentlemen, of CNN as they interview Joe Biden and actually take him to task over his failure on the economy. Here we go.
So when you talk about the economy, of course, it is by far the most important issue for voters. It's also true right now, Mr. President, that voters by a wide margin trust Trump more on the economy. They say that in polls. And part of the reason for that may be the numbers. And you're aware of many of these, of course. The cost of buying a home in the United States is double what it was when you look at your monthly costs from before the pandemic. Real income, when you account for inflation, is actually down since you took office. Economic growth last week, far short of expectations. Consumer confidence, maybe no surprise, is near a 2-year low. With less than 6 months to go to Election Day, are you worried that you're running out of time to turn that around?
We've already turned it around. Look at the Michigan survey. For 65% of the American people think they're in good shape economically. They think the nation's not in good shape, but they're personally in good shape. The polling data has been wrong all along. How many, you guys do a poll at CNN, how many folks you have to call to get one response? The idea that we're in a situation where things are so bad.
Okay. So, wow. I mean, it's tough. It's tough to see. Keep the salt flowing. I'm looking. We got the comment section up in front of us. Keep the salt flowing. We got more salty clips for you. Okay, we're just gonna do the whole thing is gonna be a salt ad lib. We don't gotta play the stinger every single time, but like the whole thing. Keep the salt flowing. We'll put up salt every single clip. We got more clips for you from this. But I do got a question for you. Did Joe Biden just have like a root canal? Which Joe Biden is this? You got to plug this guy back into the Roomba the Roomba. Which Joe Biden? Which one did they trot out? This is wrong. This is the wrong Joe Biden. It's probably the wrong. It's probably the wrong. My wife's a big Home Alone fan, and there's like this scene where Harry's been in Home Alone 2. He's been hit by the bricks. He's been hit by all these bricks. You remember Kevin McAllister? He's throwing bricks off the top of the building, and it's hitting Harry and what's the other guy's name in Home Alone? Harry and Marv. It's hitting Marv. Thank you, Alex. It's hitting Marv, and they're hitting him in the head. And with every brick that hits him in the face, he starts going, he stops being able to like make words. This is what it sounds like. This is what it sounds like. Joe Biden sounds like Marv, okay, on the sidewalk in New York, Kevin McAllister chucking bricks from the rooftop. Random thing there. I'm sure Jerry's already making the meme. Okay, Jerry, if you're not already making me, let's make the meme. Maybe we can get it by the end of the show. Here we go. Joe Biden on the most important date in his life, January 6th, okay, Fed's direction, not even being able to remember that date. Here we go.
He told the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, Mr. President, quote, "If everything's honest, I'd gladly accept the results of the election." And then he continued, though, with this: "If it's not, you have to fight for the right of the country." How seriously do you take that threat?
Seriously, just like I did January 6th. The guy is not a Democrat with a small d. I mean, he is the idea. Look, you can't only love your country when you win, number one. How many court cases do they have? Supreme Court cases. They all said this is a totally legitimate election. This is Trump. I mean, it's saying whether he may not accept the outcome of the election. I promise you he won't.
Promise that he won't.
He won't.
So,
Which is dangerous. Look, I travel around the world with other world leaders. You know what they all say? Not a joke. 80% of them, after we have a major meeting, they go, "We've got to win. My democracy to stay. Their democracy to stay." Because when you think of the things he's saying.
Dana Carvey has a really good Joe Biden impression. And the Dana Carvey Joe Biden impression is just never being able to complete a sentence. Never being able to like complete the way that I would say like Joe Biden is a criminal. He deserves to be prosecuted. The reasons why is because of all of the criminal things he has done. Like, for instance, let me name them. Let me alliterate all of the things that Joe Biden has done. Like that, like the conclusion of a sentence, like the ability to just, this is the end of my idea. Let's move on to the next idea. This is why I'm telling you, they got to recharge just this Joe Biden. Get rid of Biden number 7. You got to bring in Biden number 4. Biden number 4, he's the ringer, okay? That's the guy they gave all the cocaine to before the State of the Union. Bring in that Biden, okay? Get this guy out of there. Next lizard person, skin suit. Come on, baby, come on. Genocide Joe. This is something that they call. Joe Biden. Not me. I don't call him that. The left calls him that. The left hates Joe Biden, I think, as much as we hate Joe Biden. There's a funny clip where like the Palestinian side and like the pro-America side are all chanting FJB together. That went viral last week. Joe Biden was asked, like, everyone hates you. So, like, can you complete a sentence about that? Can you respond to your own party hating you so much? Watch.
it breaks anyone's heart to look at it. And obviously, we've seen that frustration here in the U.S. on college campuses. And Mr. President, had signs at college campuses. Some say Genocide Joe. And any of us that have gone to those campuses, sometimes we hear that chant. Do you hear the message of those young Americans?
Absolutely, I hear the message. Look, two things. First of all, there's a legitimate right to free speech and protest. There's a legitimate right to do that, and they have a right to do that. There's not a legitimate right to use hate speech. There's not a legitimate right to threaten Jewish students. There's not a legitimate right to block people access to class. That's against the law. That's against the law.
Okay. Again, it is remarkable listening to Joe Biden and hearing the inability to do anything other than like grasp. It's like swinging from one limb to the next. Like he can't put the sentences together. He can't finish the thoughts. It's just corporate pablum. He's just using the repeated lines. It's really remarkable. The line about Donald Trump and election victories and the outcomes of elections, it's just remarkable listening to the way, the cadence that his brain works, because it's just a line that has been fed to him, and his desperate attempt to like leap for the next line that was fed to him. He forgets what he's saying to like get to the next talking point. That's how broken this guy is. We're not done yet. We're not done. And ALX, can you give me that Dana Carvey clip? It's really funny. It's like Dana Carvey and David Spade, and they're doing a podcast, and it's like his impression of Joe Biden. It's really good. It's pretty funny. Here, by the way, also is the both sides chanting FJB at each other. Do we have this one, Eric? Okay. We mentioned it. Here's both sides. They asked him, "You're Genocide Joe, huh?" And Joe Biden says, "Nobody has the right to hate speech." What are you talking about? Like, I'm not advocating for hate speech, but what do you mean? There's no such thing as speech laws in this country. We have a First Amendment. You old jackal. What are you talking about? Nobody has a legitimate right to hate speech. Actually, the founder said the most important speech is the speech that offends me and that I disagree with. That's actually the speech that's deserving of protection the most. What are you talking about? Oh, you're Stalinist. Oh, your brain's gone. You have no functional brain stem. Got it. You have like the little nodes on your body with the electric pulses to like keep you just awake and operational. Okay? Plug the Roomba in, baby. Plug it in. That was his response. That was his response to chants like this. Do our best to not have F-bombs on the program. Sometimes we let one slip. And they were chanting FJB. And these are both sides. The far left and the right, which is now just the center of the country. Okay, it's not even the right. It's just the center. We are now the centrists. We are what you would call like a classic liberal. Somebody who just is liberal in nature. These people, they're not liberal. They're fascistic. These people are fascists. Liberals are people that like are open thought, free speech. That's what a liberal is. We're like, these are the like hippies from the 1970s. Like, hey, freedom, man. Let people like kind of like live, you know, and like keep the government out of everything. The CIA is bad and the FBI is bad. Like, that's us now. Isn't that weird? It's true. Okay, so who ushered in the fascistic moment? A guy named Barack Obama. Barack Obama is a hardened Marxist. He learned Marxist theory, Saul Alinsky style Marxist. He has like he's not liberal at all. He's illiberal. Okay. Barack Obama's the guy pushing all of this, running all of this stuff, running all these operations. Barack Obama's the guy who hired Jack Smith in the first place to get rid of his political opponents. This is something that they've done before. This guy, he's a criminal, okay? Evil. What's Barack Obama's advice to Joe Biden? You know, they're very close, even though they hate each other. Here you go.
When you look at your campaign at this moment, you know, it's tight. It's tight. And Barack Obama, your predecessor, of course, he has said that this is an all hands on deck moment. That's how he described it. So he believes your rematch with Trump is going to be incredibly close. It certainly looks like it will be. What's his advice to you when you talk to him?
Keep doing what I'm doing, and to make sure that what his advice is, the same advice I sort of gave him when I was vice president. Look, you've got to organize, block and tackle. People knocking on doors, putting up signs. We have over 1.5 million individual contributors in America. Never happened before. 97%, less than $200. We've opened 100 headquarters across the country. He's opened none. We have 5,000 paid staff. We're doing the block and tackling. We're going out and making sure that we knock on doors, get votes out the old-fashioned way. That's basically because it's awful hard. And we have raised more money than any president has to this point in the campaign. And so I think I'm feeling good about the trajectory of the campaign. And you know as well as I do, most people don't really focus and make up their mind till the fall. There's a lot going on. And we'll see what happens.
As I watch this kind of stuff, a couple things come to mind. One, Joe Biden is such a monster. You know, Joe Biden's his wife. Like, she knows what's going on. Like, she's committing elder abuse here. What's going on is elder abuse. Joe Biden can barely talk. I mean, can barely, like, I project my voice. I get it. I'm a particularly energetic guy. Always have been. But like, Joe Biden can barely speak. I mean, you can barely get the words out. He can barely talk. He's like, what's he doing? This ASMR whisper. Can't talk. And you can see his eyes, they're squinting. He's like, he's wincing. He's trying so hard to like put a sentence together. He's wincing, trying to remember like little facts. Like talking about like how popular they are and how many campaign offices they have and how much dark money they have. And talking about how like people haven't made their decisions. They have made their decisions, dude. Have you seen your polling numbers? Have you seen your approval numbers? You're the most unpopular president in your or my lifetime to run for office. Going back to when they started the damn thing, the gosh darn thing, polling Ike Eisenhower. You're the most unpopular guy to ever. Like, people have made up their minds. They've made up their minds. And they don't like you. And in fact, they don't like you. They think you're a scumbag. And they hate your policies, okay? This is why, this is really truly a remarkable clip. This is Dana Carvey. It's Dana Carvey on what looks like the tonight on the Jimmy Kimmel's show on ABC. And when a comedian like Dana Carvey, who's been grandfathered in because he's such a legend, he can actually go out and make fun of Joe Biden. And the crowd roars. Now, how is it that Jimmy Kimmel's crowd in downtown third world Los Angeles, stacked with libs, are like laughing at this impression of Joe Biden, which is dead on, like ringer impression. Dana Carvey, a legend. I mean, it's because the guy is a national joke. He's an international joke. World leaders meet with me and tell me that I'm sorry. Shut up! It's like it really the guy's gone. The guy's gone. Here's the impression I was telling you about. This is my favorite Joe Biden impression that I've seen on camera. Dana Carvey, the legend.
But Biden came out as a really sleepy, sweet grandpa, and he was like, he's always repeating this story, you know. Yeah, I went to Scranton. I grew up in Scranton, Pennsylvania. My dad lost his job. No joke. I'm not kidding around here. No human being in the world thinks that's a joke. Nobody. Is anybody that lost his job? What? And then, my dad, then he would do the number thing. Number one, the one part. Number two, what the guy said. Number three, you know the drill. Come on. No, we don't. Now what he does is he kind of whispers and then he yells. If you know, I think it's a wonderful move. Don't you love it when he's like, we know how to get natural gas. Because we can get it. We know how to get it. That's what we do. We take the people that run the public, the Pirates of the Caribbean.
I have a very poor Joe Biden impression, but like it has to start with taking off the glasses, right? That Dana Carvey did. Let's start, and then you need like take off the glasses, droop your mouth, right? So it's like kind of like hangs open, all right? And then you just don't complete a sentence. And it's actually quite easy. It's a step-by-step Joe Biden impression. Just don't. This is the firefighters. It was always the fire. We didn't start the fire. That's right. You gotta make sure to report about the Palestinians. It's like it's actually quite easy. You just turn your brain off. Do an impression of somebody with dementia. There are people who wish they had dementia. There's one person who particularly wishes that they have that they could forget in a comedy club claiming to be a Joe Biden staffer. So this happened in Manhattan with a comic in one of Manhattan's sort of legendary comic clubs, where there's this comic who, by every measure, like he's a comic in Manhattan. This is not some MAGA guy. This is not some Republican. But somebody in the audience, and this clip's going thermonuclear viral, somebody in the audience had the temerity to, the bloody cheek to say, I work for Joe Biden. Ooh. Again, this person wishes they had dementia. They wish they could forget this. This is going viral for all the wrong reasons for this person. This is how unpopular Joe Biden is. Biden's there bragging about like, we got all this field staff and field officers. Like, what would you say to somebody if they came up to you and said, I work for Joe Biden? Like, what would you tell them? Oh, if you dared do that when you're checking out for groceries, or if you're paying for gas, or if you're trying to find a house, what would you do? How would you treat that person? Yeah? Look at what happened in New York with a comic who found out there was a Biden staffer in the audience. Check this out.
You work for the Biden administration. Is your job to wake them up, or what's your job? Hey! There's a war! Okay, what do you do for the Biden administration? What a shit show of a job you have. I can't believe you admitted that in front of all these people. You have the freedom to lie. You could have said you were a hooker and I would have been proud of you. What do you do?
I travel to southern states.
You go to the South and try to settle on Biden? What the fuck? What are you talking about? That's your f***ing job? You know, hey, listen, I know you guys want Trump, but Biden, I mean... Wow. Are you ready to be unemployed, or what's your vibe?
Oh yeah, all right. Here we go. Can we put up the guy? This is the guy's Instagram hand. We should totally give this guy a shout out. His name is Josh Ocean Thomas. This is really funny. Let's follow this guy. This is hilarious. This is from his Instagram. Good for you, man. I have zero indication that this guy is like some type of MAGA or conservative Republican or anything like that. He's just like speaking on behalf of like everybody in the country. Like everyone hates Joe Biden. Everybody hates Joe Biden. Joe Biden said, you know how the country, Jack. Like, it was okay. You've unified us. We all hate you. You've unified us. All right.